Hello, I'm Jordy, the music director here at Spinnaker Radio, and I'm here with GeeXella.
What's
GeeXella, do you want to
up?
introduce yourself?
Yeah,
Yes.
so what's up? My name is GeeXella. My pronouns are they, them, and theirs. I'm a singer, I'm a rapper, a DJ, an organizer. They do all the things, period.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we've noticed you're very multidimensional, especially like with what you do. But like first we're gonna start off with your sound. So if you would kind of want to describe like what you sound like essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shout out to my producer, Willie Evans Jr. He's an amazing, amazing long-term OG rapper from Duval. He was a part
Mhm.
of an amazing hip hop group called Asimov, which was the first hip hop group to get a national record out of Jacksonville. And so a lot of my sound is influenced by like just the music that he creates. I love Tribe Called Quest. I have Tribe Called Quest tattooed on my arm. Like MF Doom. Like I grew up listening to the Fugees and also like a Paramore bass. So just kind of like a mix of like loving hip hop, but also loving live sound. Like I went to art schools my entire life. And so I've always been around musicians and just like different genres of music. And so I kind of just like sing whatever I want to sing. A lot of my songs are about women, and my identity being Hispanic and also being Black. And so, yeah, I just pull from a lot of lived experience when it comes to like creating my sound as like a musician, as a DJ. I love to dance to like New Jersey club house music, like and reggaeton. Like I just like I'm very eclectic when it comes to music, because usually I'm just all over the place.
Right. Yeah, no, it definitely seems like, you're pulling a lot of inspiration from like a bunch of different things, which is like super cool. And that's like also what a lot of contemporary, artists in general are doing. And
Yeah,
it's interesting that you actually mentioned your producer first because your production was like one of the first things that like stuck out to me on your records. Like it was really cool
yeah,
because it's like really cinematic and it's interesting because like actually Tribe Called Quest was one of the bands or like one of the groups that I actually thought of when I was listening to you because
oh
they're
yes,
it was cool because like they come from a black experience but also being really experimental,
yeah.
very like out of the box. So that was really cool to like hear you like pick up on that as
Yes. Oh my
well.
god, I am
That's
honored,
awesome.
Ashe. Like I
No,
am
yeah.
so honored by that. Yeah, like my first two early records were like produced completely by Willie Evans, and then the last one was with my homie. The one that I just recently put out was with my homie Miles. So yeah, that's really dope. I appreciate that. I'm humbled by
No,
that.
definitely. Of course. Yeah, definitely. The production, like I just gotta say, like it was just beautiful. Even there's like you have some strings going in with your music and like
Yeah.
some beautiful things going on. And I love how like at least for your like first two songs that are on Spotify,
Mhm.
like at least the top two, I know that you kind of start off with this very like you tend to start off your songs with a period of sound
Yeah.
that kind of like introduces the song, and I just love that because you can kind of get like it's so nice because I can kind of just get like lost into that
Yeah.
feeling before you start rapping, so
Willie
it's really, really
Evans.
cool.
I love that man.
Really. So even going back before to how you were saying you draw a lot from your Hispanic like heritage, talk a little about that too, like how does your Hispanic heritage specifically kind of influence your sound and like how you produce music and things.
Yeah, so my family, is from Mexico. My mom was an immigrant, and a lot of our, like, I guess our culture really does revolve around music. Anytime it's like cooking, it's cleaning, when we're meeting up, like, we have really big like family reunions where we do the most. And we do a talent show, we go to church, we play volleyball, and then there's a dance, and the dance is like very, very traditional. Like it's about like 5 hours of us partying and like dancing like straight. And everybody dances like abuela GeeXella picks you up, like, you going to dance, period, like, there's no no. And a lot of that music is from where my family originates from. Like, it's very the sound is bachata, so it's very waltzy, it's very like, just I don't know, you just feel like you're just in this like melody of sound. And so a lot of that has influenced how I write. And a lot of Hispanic people, when they sing about love, they sing about heartbreak, and a lot of what I do. And also, my family is very big on just like loving, like, period. It doesn't matter like what it is or what you need, like, they will give you the clothes off your back. And I feel like that has influenced a lot of how I love as well. Not that we're gonna get into, inner trauma or anything like that.
Uh,
But
of course.
I just love in a big way. I have very big emotions. It doesn't matter if it's like my friend or like what I do, like, I'm very, very passionate. And
Mm.
a lot of my family members, like I said, since they're migrant workers, they've been working since the time that they could walk. And so that's why you see me out here doing all the things.
Right.
My mom's been, working since the time she was like 6 years old, picking fruit, getting vegetables, things like that. She also was a petty officer. She was my creator and, continues to be one of my biggest influences. She's been
Beautiful.
working her butt off like all her life. And so that definitely contributes to my grind as well and who I
That's
am in
beautiful.
general. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And like even when you were saying like, you do all the things, like definitely your like community presence is so like large, And even
Yeah.
with that, I know you've created Duval Folks. And if
Yeah.
you want to speak on that as well, because that has a lot to do with your music and
Yeah,
things.
oh, 100%. So yeah, just like being Black, being Hispanic, being, non-binary, and then living in the South, like, it just was when I started DJing, like, in the gay clubs, like, it was so ugly. Like, I just, like, I could not, like, I could not, like,
uh,
I was, like, not only was it just, like, dominated by a lot of, like, white bodies, but also I was like really micromanaged by the club owners.
mm,
I could the music that I wanted to play, even though like hip hop music is, some of the top 10 songs in the USA, like, the music that I wanted to play was only I was only allowed to play them on urban nights. That was for the urban night DJ.
mm,
Or if I wanted to play Hispanic music, that was only for the Latin night DJ. So it was just very, very
wow.
segregated and like
Yeah.
very old school like run, and like it just didn't feel good, it didn't feel safe for me. And so I just wanted to create a space where like Black and brown bodies were centered and it was queer. There's such a huge difference between like gay culture and queer culture, and a lot of people who are people who are like in it, they know, but like
Mm,
it's so different. And so I just wanted
right.
to create like a queer, Black, like centered, safe, not even safe because I don't like saying safe space anymore, but brave space for people
Mhm.
to kind of like be in and just feel good in. And also as like a Black femme, like always being fetishized or touched, like going out. And so, I created ground rules. I was like, let me reach into my organizing hat. When you come into my space, like, you need to ask people for pronouns. You need to respect space. You need to understand if you're not Black or brown, you are invited into this space.
Mm,
And just like have a good time and like, dance. And I get to like just create just like a brave space for like people to feel good in, and also make
mm,
it accessible. Cause like I was DJing, but then my friends couldn't come see me because like who got
mm,
money for that? And
right,
so
exactly.
the space is sliding scale. So you pay what you want. If you ain't got it, still come to the party. A lot of white allies stepped up and they overpay. And so it just makes it very sustainable, and they completely understand why this space is necessary pre BLM. Right now, BLM's
Right.
happened since 2013, but the resurgence of BLM, period. And so a lot of white allies stepped up and just really made this space completely accessible for Black and brown bodies. And so, yeah, it's been going since 2018. Obviously, it slowed down since the pandemic, since I'm Black and
Mm.
very sad. So, so yeah, it's I miss it so much.
Right.
I can't wait till I can safely just like research it back, because not only do my people need it, but I know I need it. And
Right.
so, yeah, it's been a huge motivator and also just like an inspiration, for also not only like to what reimagining what community space looks like, but also just like inspiring lots of like femmes to want to DJ, which has been so like tear for me. But yeah, I love it.
No, yeah. I mean, that's beautiful. I think it's awesome because you're doing all of this work with the community and you're using, your music to sort of amplify that, which
Oh,
is,
100%.
beautiful. And it's like, and I mean, if you could even speak to, I know you've been doing stuff with Color Jacks Blue as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Your total community presence. Have you been
Thank you.
doing some, I know, are they doing just the murals right now?
So
Or have you
yeah,
been,
Color Jacks Blue is kind of like more so of an initiative. Shout out to Shawana Brooks. We love Black
yes,
femmes leading the way because it's what we do.
truly.
And so she is the one that created this initiative to try to help. Just highlight not only Black communities, but also like highlight just so many sectors of like women's rights, like queer rights, voter suppression, what that is, and political education. And so I am like so excited. I'm an amplifier of this initiative. So basically, twice a week, I kind of like shout out like what's happening, but a lot of the big motivator behind what she does is also art. And so she created this gallery called 6 Feet Away that was just in her yard,
Mhm.
where she's able to kind of like still have community space for like Black communities and have art accessible. And so, a huge component of Color Jacks Blue, yes, is the three murals that are happening. One of them highlighting, some folks that we have lost in our own community due to police brutality. And then the front part of the mural is Mamas of the Movement, which I am so graciously to be a part of with four amazing Black femmes. There's a whole mural on the front side of us, and like the work that we do in the community. And also note that there is going to be a huge non-binary flag next to me, so I'm excited about
Ah!
that. The picture that I sent is like of me holding the non-binary flag, and so that's what they're depicting. And so I just am like, I tear up just even thinking about it because Myrtle is like, known to be a very Black community. And so just to be able to represent as like, I didn't care about anything else, but like that flag being able to be in the center of
Mm,
that mural and also on that street. So I'm excited about that. And then the third mural is Black Votes Matter. When it
mm,
comes to like Jacksonville, 60% of Democrats are Black. And so we have a huge sway in like what could possibly happen in this election. Not that I'm endorsing
right.
anybody, but those are just the facts. You can look it up yourself. It's it and Color Jacks Blue is not centered or affiliated with any party. Blue is a very symbolic color, like not only in Jacksonville, we have bridges that are blue, ViStar's blue, Skyline is blue, but also when it comes to Black culture, Geechee, blue represents things when it comes to ancestors and things like that. So
Mm,
yeah, it's
right.
very exciting initiative because it's just like connected to everything that I am very passionate about, and I'm just honored that Shawana, invited me to be a part of that. So hashtag Color Jacks Blue, follow Color Jacks Blue, and like thank you again, Shawana
Mm.
Brooks, for inviting me to it.
So, back to your music, how has your process changed along with all of your activist space work that you've been doing recently?
So a big thing is that I have so much more time. Like it's been like interesting because usually I'm just like, running from like gig to gig to gig. And so it's been nice to just be able to like spread and just like chill like in my house, like big Capricorn vibes, and
Right.
just do like the things that I want to do, like whether it's like tracking from home or heading to like a homie's house to be able to like do the work that needs to get done. And just to have time to play around and just like try new stuff and things like that. And so it's been interesting, I will say, to see like what I can do,
Mm,
but also just been able to be booked a lot too and get to be like
mm,
all over the place. A big part of my work that I do too is I'm an organizer for Girls Rock, which is an international program
mm,
that teaches girls, gender nonconforming, and trans youth how to play music and uses political education to also amplify that. So it doesn't matter what type of music we talk about, it's centered around Black queer femmes and things like that because, we know they invented rock and roll. And so it's been awesome because I've been able to connect with like my camps from all over the world. So that also has been really fun too. And also just has like inspired me to like get into my girls rock roots, which a lot of that is like experimenting and trying new stuff. And so I've been like trying to beat make and like
Mm.
creating like loops and stuff like that, tapping into production. And so it's just been like really fun just to be able to have time and just to be able to play around and do whatever I want to do. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I definitely think it's like safe to say that, you're a person of very like a lot of many dimensions, right? But I think it's really cool how you at the end of the day you're using all of your facets to just amplify like voices at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like that's the base
Mhm.
and just be yourself. And
100%.
so, like and also it's like but that also has to come from somewhere, right? So like what is like influencing you like outside of, your immediate sort of environment or like your immediate connections to things? What's influencing you to kind of do this and be dominant in that way.
I think a huge, like I said, influence has to be like from my girls rock like roots. Years ago, so before what inspired my EP, is I got hit by a semi truck. This is like my story. I got hit by a semi truck, my car flipped 3 times, and it just kind of like shifted me in this way. I do come from a space of being a survivor of, sexual violence, of domestic violence, and so being in that accident kind of really triggered a lot of stuff for me. And, I was super depressed, like, lots of just like feeling, trigger warning, lots of like suicide ideation, just like, why am I here? What am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And, Girls Rock kind of fell into my lap. During Girls Rock, part of the structure, there's lunchtime performers where they try to find like, femmes and gender nonconforming and trans folks to perform for the youth that attend the camp. And so my homies invited me to come sing along with them. And then I got introduced to the Girls Rock universe. And it literally is like a whole pocket. It's like a very Narnia, like
Mhm.
very like, okay, once you're in, it's like this whole world. And it's an alliance. So it's like all over the world. There's camps like all over the United States, Canada, Africa, Tokyo, London. They're everywhere. And
Mhm.
so being in that space with those like and a lots of my political education also, well, every part of my political education comes from Girls Rock. I learned about, intersectionality, about like how I had all these oppressors that came from like my gender and my sexuality and my race, and I never had that language. And so
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of, my inspiration comes from that. Youth, are fearless. Like they, in one week, they get put into bands, they get to learn a new instrument, and then by the end of the week they write a song. And so being able to
Mhm.
see like these youth not only step into that, but then also step into their gender and be proud of that. Like, oh my, like, I came out like after being around Girls Rock like youth and like,
Mhm.
people, because like again, I didn't have that language. I didn't know that I was feeling all these things. And also therapy, going to
Mhm.
therapy also helped me a lot too, to just kind of be like real with myself and just be authentic with myself and not care about like what other people think, and just like lets me be like unapologetically me. And so I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of that comes from that. And then also just wanting to highlight community and just wanting to like be a voice for that and support like grassroots organizations because it makes up everything that I am and everything that I'm passionate about. And so just like all of that, but basically Girls Rock was like a huge catalyst into like who GeeXella is and what they do.
Mhm.
And so I'm forever thankful for that organization and just like always going to be supportive of the work that Girls Rock does. So yeah.
Mm. Yes, we love it. Well,
Yes,
thank you so much for your time. I feel like that was a good run. I mean, I know
of
you have to
course.
go. So, thank you so much again for your time.